But somewhere I go and hide, looking for a new start. Yeah,
Hey guys, today I'm going to show you some really good recipes, one being this delicious carrot cake, and then I'm going to show you a few appetizer ideas for any spring party they would be perfect for, and then I'm going to show you a fun twist on a floral arrangement. So we're starting off here making our carrot bundt cake. Now, let me tell you, this carrot cake came out absolutely delicious. If you don't love a super sweet carrot cake, then you can leave this recipe exactly as is. The cream cheese frosting is definitely sweet, but the cake is not. So if you like a sweeter kind of taste to your carrot cakes, then you'll definitely want to add some regular sugar. This recipe only calls for brown sugar, so I would definitely add a little bit of sugar. But other than that, this recipe, the carrot cake, is so moist and delicious. I think that you will love it if you're a carrot cake fan. So the recipe calls for 3 medium shredded carrots. So I went ahead and did that with the help of my buddy. And it also calls for canned pineapple. So you want to take that canned pineapple, put it in a blender, blend it up, and get that in there in a little bit when you combine it with everything. But right now, all the dry ingredients need to be sifted. So it's just basically flour, cornstarch, baking powder, baking soda, salt, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and nutmeg. All things that I always have on hand in my spice cabinet. I made these recipes specifically for our Easter holiday. We hosted this year and we had a beautiful day. I hope you all did it well as well, for all who celebrate and for all who celebrate all the other holidays around this time. I hope you had a wonderful time with your family and friends. So I was making this carrot cake the Saturday night before Easter. I prepared the actual cake this night, and then I kept it in the refrigerator overnight, and then I prepared the glaze the next day and added it on, and it turned out perfect. Most of these recipes, though, although I was making them for Easter, can easily be used throughout spring. I'll show you some of the appetizers. While they look springy, can definitely be altered for any time of year. Now, the recipe calls for brown sugar. I only had light brown sugar on hand. I don't know if that made a difference with the sweetness. Maybe if I just had used regular brown sugar, it would have been a little bit sweeter, but it definitely lacked on the sweet content. So just be sure to use regular brown sugar. And like I said, if you like it extra sweet, then maybe just add a little bit of white sugar as well. Now I'm just adding in the wet ingredients here to the brown sugar. Going to get that all mixed together before we go ahead and add in our dry ingredients. And there's so many things in this recipe that just keep this cake so nice and moist. This yogurt, the pineapple, of course, the carrot. It is really a delicious cake. I've been having it every morning with my coffee for breakfast. And there were some big carrot cake fans over our house on Easter, and they all approved. They thought it was great. My brother-in-law definitely didn't like the lack of sugar. But everyone else gave it a thumbs up. Just stirring all the dry ingredients into the wet, getting the carrot in now. Then after we get all that incorporated together, we're going to put in the nuts. So it calls for pecans or walnuts or a mixture. So I'm going ahead and doing a mixture here. And I had bought chopped pecans, but I had no idea where I put them. So I'm just have the walnuts and the pecans here. You want a cup total, and just giving them a fine chop. I like them a little bit chunky in my carrot cake. So just getting them incorporated here in the mixture. Once we have everything all incorporated, I'm going ahead and putting this into my bundt cake mold. Now, I have a silicone bundt cake mold. I love it. Works like a dream. But I still like to go ahead and put the flour, the nonstick spray, and then I put flour on top of that. And I know it's silicone, so it doesn't necessarily need it, but it just makes for extra assurance that it's going to come out. Whatever container you're using or whatever pan you're using, you want to just lightly tap it down, make sure you get all the air out, make sure everything goes into the kind of the nooks and crannies of the Bundt cake. Then we're going to get it into a 350-degree oven. The recipe says bake for 45 to 50 minutes. I ended up having to leave it in there for about an hour. So while that's cooking in the oven, I'm going ahead and preparing my centerpieces for our Easter table. Now, I had done a beautiful centerpiece using a cabbage as the vase, and I had done that for a St. Patrick's Day party we were going to. I had brought it with us as a kind of a hostess gift, and just showing you these beautiful tulips I picked up at the grocery store, and these flowers as well. My intention was to make 2 of those for my Easter table, but when I went to the grocery store to get 2 cabbages for that, they were just not big enough. I'm going to insert a picture and show you what I'm saying in regards to that arrangement I made, but when you do that, you want a decent size cabbage. And when I went, there was only little itty bitty cabbages. So I thought as an alternative, I would do this. So what I'm doing is basically taking the one bunch of flowers and splitting it up into 2. And then I am taking the tulip and splitting that between these 2. I'm just using cups here. These are our regular drinking cups. And I'm splitting the flowers between the 2 cups. And then I'm taking romaine lettuce and I am just tying it around the glass. And it kind of gives you that same garden-y springtime vibe as the cabbage vase did. But it's just actually a whole lot simpler. And easier to do. The cabbage vase looks absolutely amazing, and I would totally do that again, but it did take some effort to kind of hollow out the inside of the cabbage. But this was kind of a quick alternative to that, and I thought they came out super cute. So I'm going to get these both done, and then towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you how they look on our table for Easter.
Loving me was all you tried when you were around. I've been told too many times now. Yeah, loving me was all you tried when you were around. I've been told too many times now. But somewhere I go run and hide, looking for a new start. Yeah, somewhere I go run and hide, looking for a new start, for a new start. Looking for a new, looking for a new, looking for a new, looking for a new. Don't wanna be trapped, don't wanna be down, don't wanna be stuck in this town. Don't wanna be trapped, don't wanna be down, looking for a new start.
Even though they weren't my cabbage vase, I thought they came out really cute, and they're going to do the trick for our Easter table. So the 45 minutes has passed, and I'm just checking this, and I didn't even need to put the skewer. I'm using a skewer just because it was so, it's a very dense and thick cake. But I didn't even need to use it because I could tell when I just pulled it out that it wasn't ready. So I put it in for an additional 10 minutes. And at this point, it still needed a little bit. So I do wind up keeping it in here for an hour. And that seemed to work out great. So after I still see a little bit on there, I just push it back in for an additional 5 minutes. So of course, it'll vary with your oven. But my carrot bun cake needed an hour. Once I got it out of the oven, it looked really good. It looked so nice and soft and moist and exactly how I like a carrot cake to be. So like I mentioned earlier, I had just put some plastic wrap over that and kept that in the refrigerator overnight. And now this is the next morning. This is Easter Sunday, and I am making the cream cheese glaze to go on top of it. So It is just basically powdered sugar, butter, vanilla, and cream cheese. And this glaze is absolutely delicious. I mean, it's basically icing. It is so, so good. Super easy to do here in the KitchenAid. I winded up adding some milk to mine. It was a little thick, so you just want to thin it out to the point where you can get it to kind of spread nicely on your cake. Once I had the icing done, I am going ahead and taking the carrot cake out of the Bundt cake mold. And this is the joy of silicone. It comes out so easily. It's so perfect to be able to just get it out. I'm in the process of trying to transition all my metal cupcake tins and that sort of thing to the silicone because it just works like a dream. Now that I have the carrot cake on my cake stand here, I am just taking the icing, and I probably could have thinned it out a little bit more so that it could have kind of dripped down the sides on its own. But I don't know, it was so good at this point, and I liked the taste and the look of the thicker consistency. So I was just kind of putting it on and spreading it out just with a spoon. But if you want it a little bit thinner, it would definitely run down a little bit easier. Then I decided to just shred up a little more carrot and just sprinkle it on top just for some decoration. And it looks amazing at this point. So, so good. So we're going to put that to the side and we're going to enjoy that later for dessert. So now I'm on to showing you a couple of appetizer ideas. Now this is definitely geared towards spring. It's going to be a carrot-shaped kind of cream cheese dip, but you can certainly, of course, carrots are great all through spring, but you can use this recipe and just make it into a cheese ball because that's basically what it is. And everyone raved about this. They loved it. They wanted to know what was in it. And it's so easy to do. It was a stick of cream cheese and a package of ranch seasoning mix, which I didn't have a packet. I had a big container of it. So I just Googled how much ranch seasoning mix actually comes in a packet. And I believe it said 3 tablespoons. So I just added that amount to the cream cheese mixer, and you want to mix that together. Then you're going to go ahead and add in your cheddar cheese and your bacon bits, your Worcestershire sauce. You want to get all that in there, and then you're going to just mix that up. And like I said, this would be dynamite just as a regular good old cheese ball. Just roll it into a ball and then roll the cheese and then just spread the cheese around the cheese ball if you didn't want to necessarily make it into a carrot. But the carrot for springtime is so super cute. So I didn't have any plastic wrap on hand, but I do have this other type of plastic wrap here. So I'm just using this just so that the dip does not stick to it. And you're going to want to let this set up in your refrigerator for a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just transferring it to a flatter surface here to just make it easier for me to kind of mold it into a carrot shape. And that's exactly what you're going to do. You're just going to mold it around until you get into that carrot shape that you like. And then this is going to sit in the refrigerator for a minimum of 30 minutes just to get it, to stay in that kind of carrot shape. And I think I did a pretty darn good job. You never know how these things are going to go. And I was happy with that. And then you're going to take your additional cup of shredded cheese. I actually winded up having to shred a little bit more. The recipe does call for 2 cups. A cup of it goes into the mixer with your cream cheese, and then a cup of it is for the outside. But I did want to get a little bit more. I wanted the entire surface covered, so it definitely had the appearance of a carrot. Once I got all the cheese kind of onto the cream cheese mixture, I'm just taking that plastic wrap and just gently, without messing up my carrot, molding it around the carrot so that way it really keeps its shape in the refrigerator. So that's going to sit in the refrigerator for a little bit. And while that does that, I'm on to my next appetizer. And I was definitely having a carrot theme today. That's definitely the theme of this video. I love a kind of garden theme for any spring party. So this appetizer is super cute. You want to take 8 sheets of foil. So I'm just ripping them off. You want them to be around 4 inches wide. You totally don't have to be accurate with this. This is the first time I was making this, so I was trying to be a little more accurate because I wasn't sure, but it's fine. Then you want to kind of roll your foil into a kind of a cone shape. Now, I thought this was going to be super easy, but I don't know why this was like giving me issues. I couldn't get into a proper cone shape. It took me a little bit of time, but once I kind of got the knack of it, it was a little bit easier to do. You're basically forming a carrot with the foil because this is going to be your mold for your crescent rolls. So you're going to take 1 package of crescent rolls. This recipe makes 8 little croissant carrots. You can definitely double if you needed to, but I just wanted to kind of try this out and see how it was going to work. This is one of those Pinterest things where it looks adorable, but I wasn't sure if I was going to execute it. So you're just going to unroll your crescent roll, and you want to just push together all those seams because they're not going to be taken apart. So you're just going to push those together. Super easy to do. Then once you have your seams pushed together, you want to vertically make 8 strips. So, and they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to match, exactly right. I'm just taking a knife here and just making 8 vertical kind of strips. That's going to form the carrot shape for your little croissant carrots. And this recipe did come out adorable, but there is a little bit of tips I have if you're going to try this. I thought to myself while I was doing this, I should spray the foil with something so that it comes out of the crescent roll a little bit easier. But the recipe, at least I didn't see, it didn't say anything about doing that. So I just thought to myself, I guess the foil kind of just comes out easily. It makes it sound like you just wiggle the croissant kind of off of it. Spray cooking spray on your foil. Just do it. I ruined one because I was trying to get it out. And then if your bottom is too pointy, the foil gets stuck in there. So I think it just would have come out a whole lot easier had I just sprayed the foil with some cooking spray. So that's a tip there. And I'm just taking the crescent roll and I'm kind of molding it around the foil. You're going to be stuffing these with a cream cheese mixture. So the point is to keep the inside kind of hollow so that you can get that cream cheese mixture into there. So while the oven is preheating, I am cutting up my chives that are going to go in this mixture. And let me tell you, this is basically like a chive cream cheese. But that's exactly what it is. But it is so good. And when you go to the bagel store and you buy like a specialty cream cheese, it's a little more costly or whatever. But this cream cheese, I would make this just to spread on bagels because it came out so good. So good. And it's so simple to do. So you're just cutting up your chives and getting it into the bowl. You want to get your parsley chopped up nice and small so that there's no big chunks of parsley in there. Although I love parsley. I can eat it like salad. So good. Then you're going to take a zest of a lemon and you're going to put that in that as well. And don't skip this step. It makes such a difference. It just makes your mixture so fresh. So good. When you add lemon zest to anything, makes it that much better. So just directly doing this over my KitchenAid, just easier to do that way. Adding a little bit of salt, and then you're just going to mix this all together. And of course, if you have your cream cheese sitting out prior to doing this, it just makes easier work of it. Everything kind of mixes a little bit better. Getting everything off of that, I like to just do that, make sure everything is easily incorporated. You don't have to do this. You can stuff them with just a small spoon, but it did make it a little bit easier. I put this just into a sandwich-sized baggie to kind of make a little piping bag for myself, just to make it easier to get into the croissant. I wasn't sure how big the actual hole was going to be for me to be able to get anything into. So I thought, and the suggestion of the recipe says to do this as well. So I'm just getting the mixture in here, and while the croissants are cooking, I am putting this in the refrigerator, and I actually didn't put them together until closer to the time that my guests were coming, because I just didn't want the cream cheese to kind of sit in the croissant and make it soggy. So I ended up putting the cream cheese into that a little bit later on. Now I'm going ahead and showing you how those beautiful vases came out on our Easter table. They look absolutely beautiful. They're not my cabbage centerpieces, but they definitely do the trick and have the same gardeny vibe. I definitely love it. I put the addition of this little velvet bunnies in here that I had gotten from Walmart. They're just little velvet bunnies on picks, and I knew I would have somewhere I could use them. I love how the lettuce is just kind of flopping over. Looks super gardeny and so springy. This would be beautiful for any spring tablescape. I hope this video gave you some springtime inspiration for your next gathering or springtime party. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up button for me, and I will see you in the next one.
I've been losing sleep, what to do? Could somebody come and take me away? I've been in the tea without you, and I got it in my head night and day. But we are one step closer. We're all in this together. Put your hand in mine. Yeah, we are one step closer. Can you feel it, baby? It's the end of the line. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, moving on. Oh, oh. It looks like we made it.